Sleep and travel don't always mix, but today we're fixing that. I'm Sarah Huff, your host, travel loving mom, and baby quip quality provider. I've helped thousands of families simplify travel, and I know firsthand that a solid sleep strategy can make or break a trip. So let's dive in because no one wants bedtime battles on vacation.
Welcome to Tiny Travelers, the family vacation podcast where we make traveling with kids easier, smarter, and more fun. I'm Sarah, a travel-loving mom who knows the joys and chaos of exploring with little ones. Each week, we dive into parent-tested strategies, travel hacks, and honest advice on what really works with kids and what doesn't. So buckle up, grab your travel planner, and let's make your next family adventure unforgettable. Pack light, travel happy.
Today, we're not just covering the basics. You already know kids struggle with sleep when they're traveling, but going deep into real life travel scenarios that parents actually deal with. What do you do when your baby won't sleep in the hotel crib? When your toddler melts down at bedtime after a long travel day? Or when your sleep plan completely falls apart? That's where today's guest comes in. Joining me today is Rachael Shepard-O, certified sleep consultant, founder of Hey Sleepy Baby, host of the No One Told Us podcast, and mom of three. Could she do any more? She's helped thousands of families get better sleep without sleep training. If bedtime battles are ruining your vacation, her insights are about to be a game changer. Rachael, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited. I have been a huge fan of Baby Quip, by the way, for like 7 years or 6 years, I think. We started using it when my oldest was a baby. And it makes travel so much easier. So I'm so excited to do this episode with you guys.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for saying that because I have been a fan of Baby Quip for a very long time too.
It's
And it
amazing.
does really help traveling families. Yes, absolutely. Before we get into all of your amazing sleep tips and sleep and travel tips, I have a few questions because, these are the things that I really want to know. Do you have a go-to travel snack?
My go-to travel snack is not necessarily one snack in particular. It's just bring all the snacks possible. Like that is my snack tip. Just bring like variety is the spice of life. And I mean, usually my kids go for things that are like crunchy or sweet. And so I like to do like freeze dried or dried fruit depending on their age and like what's safe for them because I do have a toddler still, but my older kids love like pretzels and like veggie chips and stuff like that. But yeah, I try to just pack like snackle box basically, like one of those big boxes with
I love that. A snackle
yeah, it's like
box.
this big box with all these different little compartments. And so it's I think just a little more fun for them to feel like they have a million choices. It's like a little charcuterie board on the go. That helps a lot. But I also try to sneak in like protein, like cut up cheese and things like that, because otherwise they're just going to be hungry and cranky if they're not actually
Oh,
getting full.
totally. Yeah. Yeah. And do you also get to have some of the snackle box?
Of course. Well, I also have to pack my own snacks and then I have to eat them like in secret in the bathroom so that I don't have to share.
Yeah, my go-to travel snack is Nerds gummy clusters.
They're
Not
so good.
healthy,
No, they're so
but they
good.
just like give you so much energy for the day, and then you can bribe your kids with them. Sometimes they love taking like the little nerds off of the gummy cluster part. That keeps them entertained for like
So it's like a fine motor activity.
exactly. Yes. You know what? I'm like a Montessori teacher. Thank you. I'm glad that you recognize that. Do you have any travel traditions or rituals before you like go out with your kids or before you take a trip or anything like that?
We usually, I mean, it depends on their ages, of course, but now that they're a bit older, so just for context for anybody listening, I have a 7-year-old, a 5-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And we travel with them quite a bit. And usually we just have like a little pep talk. So we will kind of go through expectations for them, like, remember what we do on a plane, remember what's going to happen, and just kind of like reminding them of what's expected and what might happen. But most importantly, my husband and I always have like a little come to
Me
Jesus. And we're
too. Oh my
like,
God, Rachel, we're best friends already. Yes.
let's remember this is going to
We don't
suck.
hate each other.
No, we are on the same
Yes.
team. Like, let's just get through this day without wanting to kill each other. And that is a must.
every single time my husband and I make eye contact and we're like, we love each other.
Yeah.
We're married. Don't let this ruin our
Let's not
life.
get divorced on
No,
this vacation.
please. Okay. No, we do that same thing. Also, my travel tradition is just taking out the trash before I leave the house.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's everybody's travel tradition. It probably should be, but it's so nice coming home to a house that does not have any trash in it.
It is. I mean, my husband actually kind of goes through and cleans the whole house. Like he wants everything to be clean. And I remember my parents used to do that before we left for trips. And I used to think it was so annoying and unnecessary. And now I totally
Right.
get
You're
it.
like, let's just go.
Yeah. No, but it's nice to come
Hmm.
home to a clean, non-stinky house for sure.
100%. It makes
Yeah.
just coming back from that stressful travel. I mean, coming back from a trip is like the most stressful part for me,
Yes.
anyways,
Especially if
because
you
you're
get in late
so
at night,
prepared
you're exhausted.
before.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
exactly. Coming home sucks.
It's really terrible. All right, let's get into some sleep questions because I think that's why everyone's here today. That's why you're
Perfect.
here.
Yeah.
So when parents are traveling with their kids, what's the biggest mistake that they make planning? Like, what's the one thing that they think this is going to work and it just doesn't?
Honestly, it has nothing to do with like having a particular product or like scheduling. It's really just your mindset and your
Hmm.
expectations. Like that is the biggest thing I see is parents who think that things are going to go exactly the way that they go at home or that, baby will just kind of like go along for the ride and everything will be kind of normal and that they'll be able to do vacations the way that they did before kids with this like packed itinerary and lots of sightseeing and lots of activities. And I think when you go in with that type of expectation and also like thinking that your kids are going to be super appreciative and grateful and just like loving every moment and never melting down and never having a bad moment. Like I think when we have expectations like that about how we want the trip to go, we're just destined for disappointment and we're going to get upset and angry and feel like we've wasted all this time and money. So I really just like to tell parents like have your expectations extremely low.
Right.
Extremely low. Like travel is
They're on the
so
ground and then
yes.
drop
And
them
then go even more into the basement, like
even
honestly,
lower.
because travel is so much for our kids. It's like they're going off of their normal schedule, off of their normal routine. There's different sounds, there's just different smells, there's different sights. They're busy. They're probably not sleeping quite as well as they do at home. There's so much that's different. And so it can be really overwhelming for them. And it can still be fun. Like we've traveled with our kids and we've had disastrous trips, but we've never regretted one of them. Because it's still always like a net positive at the end, but you definitely do
Right.
have those hard moments. So I would say just like really adjust your expectations before going into it. Not doing that is what's going to set you up for the most disappointment more than any other like little individual choice that you make.
Yeah. And I think something that you said kind of earlier was not only do you set expectations for yourself, but you set expectations for your kids too. Like, hey,
Yeah.
this is what's going to happen. It may not always be fun. We might be tired. There's some times when we won't get, dinner right away, or
Mhm.
things might not be just like at home. As
Mhm.
long as you're like letting kids know what to expect and letting yourself know what to expect, things tend to go a little bit easier.
Totally. And if they don't go perfectly, then at least you were prepared mentally for that and like it's okay, we can just keep it rolling, keep it moving.
So what if there is like a travel disaster? Like you get to the hotel, you've gotten the crib from the hotel or from Baby Quip or wherever, and baby just is like, nope, not sleeping. The whole family's exhausted. What's the backup plan? Do you have a backup plan? What should you do?
Yeah, there are backup plans and there are also ways that you can kind of prep for that before it even happens. So, one thing that I like to do is if you are bringing your own travel crib, which lots of people like to do, then practice with it. Like a couple weeks before, or at least a week before, bring it into your baby's nursery, let them crawl around and explore it. Maybe even try it out for a nap or for nighttime so that they get used to sleeping in there. And then you really know, like, okay, they actually hate this. Like, let's think of a plan B. Or maybe they're like, okay, cool, I'll sleep here too. And then you're golden. So doing that prep work before can be really nice. If you are going
Mm.
to rent, which we usually do because we hate lugging our stuff, if you are going to rent, you can bring things from home that make it feel a little more cozy and familiar. So you can bring your child's crib sheet and put their same crib sheet on so it kind of smells like home and like smells like what they're used to. Have their lovey if they use a lovey, things like that that just make it feel more familiar. Bring the same sleep sack,
Hmm.
use the same noise machine, use blackout curtains if you can, like bring travel blackout curtains, or some people really like the slumber pod. Things like that can make that
Hmm.
unfamiliar space feel a little bit more familiar. And then also make sure, like, we're busy, we like to be out late and doing like really fun things while we're on vacation, right? But if you can save a little bit of time to even do just like a mini version of your home bedtime routine, that can also be really helpful, because the bedtime routine really is there to kind of cue your baby's brain that sleep is coming. So you want to make sure that they're tired enough, but not overly tired and like wired and crazy, but that they have that time to kind of wind down and go through the same activities that they do at home right before bed so that they know what to expect.
That's a great idea, is like pre-testing all of your travel baby stuff, because the worst thing you do is like buying this expensive travel crib or renting, a crib, and then you get to your rental or your hotel, and then nobody likes what you brought. So,
Totally.
and then you
Yeah.
don't even have any other options because that's what you thought was going to be the most important.
Right. And
That's, I think
on my
that's so fantastic.
Yeah, and on my page, I am very like co-sleeping friendly. My two of my three kids have co-slept, and I do think even if you're not a regularly co-sleeping family, I do think knowing how to do that safely, especially if you have a baby under one, knowing
Hmm.
how to prepare a bed to safely bring your baby into your bed with you if they really will not settle any other way. I think that's really important to just have that basic knowledge, in case you find yourself in that situation where it's 2 a.m., you haven't gone to sleep yet, your baby will not settle, and you decide to just bring them into the bed.
And what would you suggest for setting yourself up for safe co-sleeping if somebody wanted to do that?
Yeah. So in a hotel, it's a little bit trickier because you don't have as much control over the space. Ideally, for a safe co sleeping situation, it would be a very firm mattress away from the wall, and as low to the ground as possible, if not on the ground. So we've actually taken the mattress off of like the box spring in a hotel before and put it on the ground so that we could sleep and our baby wouldn't get hurt if she rolled off. So you can be creative. There are ways around
Oh,
it. But
move the
yeah,
furniture in the hotel rooms.
make it your own. Yeah, the most important things are that it's a pretty firm mattress and that there's not a lot of big heavy duvets or extra pillows on the bed that baby could, roll into and that would obstruct their airway. And this is all especially important for babies under one. Over one, when they're a little bit more mobile, it's a little less. You don't have to be quite as strict.
That was my next question. Do you have like an age when you need to be really careful about that? And then when you can start kind of lessening your worry?
Yeah, under one, it's definitely the most important. And obviously, for the newborn period, it's like ultimately important that you follow. It's called the Safe Sleep 7. So if you just Google Safe Sleep 7, it'll basically give you some visuals and some bullet points of like the most important safety measures if you do decide to bed share or co sleep while you're on vacation, especially if you're not
Hmm.
doing it, especially if you don't do it regularly. And then the other major thing, again, especially for babies under one, but you want to be, of course, sober, which is something that we might not think about on vacation, but you cannot be
Hmm.
smoking or drinking alcohol and bringing your baby into bed. So that's just something else to be aware of.
That's a great little tidbit of information. So maybe you take one night off, your
Right.
spouse has one night,
Or you
you go
have
back and forth and you
you
sleep
have a
in
little
different beds.
cocktail. Yeah, you have your cocktail at breakfast. You have your mimosas, and and
Sure.
then by
You do
by the
your
time
lunch
it's nighttime,
cocktails.
by the time it's nighttime, you're good to go.
I mean, honestly, at my age, anyways, I have no business having cocktails after 2 p.m. because the
None.
next day was going to be a nightmare,
It's so unfair, isn't
anyways.
it? I
So
know.
it really is. It's kind of BS, if you ask me. Uh, let's see. Okay, so we're talking about sleep setups,
Hmm.
and sometimes depending on where you're going, what's available to you in terms of hotels or rentals or something like that, um, your sleep setup can be a little bit of a nightmare. Let's say you have multiple kids sharing one space, or maybe you have multiple parents and multiple kids sharing one space. You're trying to save a little time and money and all that kind of stuff. So what's the best way to set up a baby friendly sleep area in a hotel or a vacation rental?
Yeah, so there's lots of options and it kind of depends on what you have available to you. I mean, we have definitely been known to put our baby's little travel crib in a huge walk-in closet or in a bathroom or something so that they do have that designated space. You obviously want to make sure it's like a well-ventilated space and that it's not like, a stuffy little closet. But you can be creative in that way and kind of figure out what's going to work if they are that type of baby that needs a separate space. We've also done it. I mean, we have 3 kids, so they're all different in terms of like their personalities and their sleep.
Isn't it
Sometimes
crazy how that happens?
it's wild. It's wild. But especially now that they're older too, like they're much more able to kind of block out external noise. So now when we go on vacation, we can all 5 of us share a room and it's not really a big issue. But yeah, as babies, they do tend to be a little bit more particular and stuff like that. So that's another reason a lot of parents like to get something like a slumber pod or something like that. But yeah, I have a travel guide too that talks a lot about like setting up a sleep space for babies and toddlers. So, and that's totally free. So I can send you guys the link if you want to
Oh,
include
that
that
would
in
be
show
great.
notes.
And they can find that on your website. And we'll talk
Yeah,
about
it's on my
the website
website
later.
too. But yeah, totally.
Awesome. Perfect. We're taking a quick break to share something special from one of our brands. We only work with brands we truly believe in, so stay tuned and we'll be right back. Traveling with a baby is tough. You want them to sleep soundly and play safely, but most travel cribs and play yards are small, uncomfortable, and not breathable, meaning your little one could overheat, or worse, it's just not safe. Many play yards have thin, hard mattresses, and let's be honest, who knows what's lurking inside since most aren't washable? As a parent, peace of mind is everything, especially when you're away from home. The Newton Travel Crib and Play Yard is ultra breathable, completely washable, and Green Guard Gold certified. It's twice the size of other travel cribs, so your baby actually has room to stretch out. Plus, it comes with an optional bassinet insert for those early months. The patented woven air technology, the same as in Newton's award-winning crib mattress, means your baby can literally breathe right through it. And independent testing found that among best-selling play yards, only Newton did not pose a significant suffocation risk. Did I mention it's completely washable? The play yard and bassinet insert mattresses are completely washable from cover to core. That means a cleaner, more hypoallergenic environment for your baby. So no hidden bacteria or allergens. That's a game changer. Newton Baby is offering my listeners $40 off the Newton Play Yard Plus free shipping. Just go to newtonbaby.com and enter Newton Travel, one word. And with their 100-night trial, you can try it risk-free. Again, that's newtonbaby.com and use code Newton Travel to get $40 off the Newton Travel Crib and Play Yard. If you're looking for a safe, comfortable, and breathable travel crib and play yard, this is it. It's got twice the space, a thicker mattress, and the ability to breathe right through it. That means better sleep, safer play, and peace of mind for you. Yes, please. Don't forget, Newton Baby is giving my listeners $40 off the Play Yard Plus and free shipping. Go to newtonbaby.com and enter code NewtonTravel to claim your offer today. Because when it comes to your baby's safety, there's no compromise. And then, every baby needs kind of like a different thing to sleep. My oldest needed to be rocked to sleep everywhere he went. So I had to rent a rocking chair or some sort of rocking device at any location. My second only wanted to breastfeed to go to sleep. And so that was easy. I just brought myself.
Yep, exactly.
But, like if your baby has special desires and needs to go to sleep, like sleep machine or blackout curtains, or like you said, a slumber pod to make it really dark or something like that, you can definitely rent all that stuff too. So you're not just packing it in your luggage and lugging all of that stuff around. So don't feel like your sleep setup is complicated.
No, and we've even done that like in the middle of a trip before where we've realized like, oh my God, we thought we could get away without a sound machine, but like we really need one and we don't feel like going to, a Target 50 minutes away when we're on Hawaii. So yeah, Baby Quip honestly just has come in to save us so
You know
many
what? I
different
mean, I'm a
times.
quality provider and I also use Baby Quip whenever I go on vacation. I mean, we rented a place once in San Diego and it had stairs in the hotel room. I'm like, stairs in a hotel room. So,
You need a
we had
gate.
to
Yeah.
we needed a gate and we needed a baby jail and like all that kind of stuff. So sometimes even best laid plans, you get there and you're like, this isn't what I thought it was going to be. I need all this stuff. So,
Can I tell you what
um,
the best thing we've ever rented though is?
yes, please.
A bin of toys. I cannot recommend
100%.
enough. I cannot recommend enough. A, because you don't have to pack toys, but B, all the toys are new to your kids. So it's like Christmas morning and they're like
Hmm.
extra excited to play with them. I can't even tell you. Like, so we went to Hawaii, I guess it was a year ago. We did this for the very first time. Actually, no, it wasn't the first time, but the first time with my kids being like old enough to kind of understand what was going on. And we ordered this bin of toys and the provider was so sweet. She was like, tell me about your kids, like genders, ages, tell me what they're into, what are their interests. And so she packed this box like custom for us basically of all the things that my kids would love. It honestly like made the trip because my husband and I could wake up, have our coffee out on the patio, chit chat, just like wake up slowly and enjoy the morning, and they were totally occupied for as long as we
Yep.
needed
They're
them to be
not like
occupied.
dialing room service on the
No,
phone. They're
because
not
so often
unplugging stuff. Right.
that's the thing. It's like there's nothing for kids to do in a hotel room. Like, what are they supposed to do?
Totally.
I mean, it
There's
just
not really that much
was
for adults to do in a hotel room. You
right.
know what I mean?
Right. It was honestly just like life changing. And I will never, ever again go on a vacation without doing that. It was so perfect.
No, and I think a lot of parents think like, why would I rent toys when I'm going somewhere and it's going to be so fun? But if you think of all the downtime kids need, you can't just push, 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 push. You're going to have a rough time, right?
Well, and if you're
And
going to the
even
beach, you can rent like beach toys, like all of that kind of stuff too, like stuff that you will use outside. Yep.
pool toys, I mean, all kinds of stuff. And our quality providers love toys. I mean, it's crazy. The toy packages I've seen put together, they're some of the best, I want to play with the toy
I know.
packages,
It's so fun. And then there were a couple of things that my kids loved so much that they were so devastated to leave behind. So we were like, okay, great. That's like our idea for birthday and Christmas presents this year.
Hmm.
We know we know exactly what to get them
Oh,
because
yes. I love when my customers are like, my baby will not give up this one toy in the toy box. Can we just take it home? And I'm like, yes, absolutely. That's totally
oh my
amazing.
gosh,
I
that is
love
so
that.
sweet of you.
Well, I'm a very nice person.
I could tell.
I know. um, okay, so speaking of jam-packed days, some
Yeah.
families like to do that. I mean, some people go on vacation for like rest and relaxation. Some people want to really see everything, and some people do a mix of both. But if we're thinking like long Disney days, long road trip days, adventure tours, like so many different things, um, how can parents help prevent meltdowns when naps are just like impossible on the go?
Well, first, I would say try like if your kid is one of those kids who really needs the nap, you can do a nap on the go. I mean, we stroller naps are great, but we also just went to Portugal last summer, and there was a lot of walking. It was just like you just mentioned, like tons of sightseeing, tons of walking. It was like dead of summer. There's stairs and hills everywhere. Like it was definitely a lot. But my 2 year old actually just napped in, I had like a backpack carrier. So while we were walking the streets and like seeing all the stuff with our bigger kids, she would just snooze in the carrier because we didn't even want to bring a stroller because it's like all cobblestones and stuff there. So I was going to be like, well, she'll just miss her nap. We'll go to bed early. That's fine. But she actually would just like conk out on my back in this little backpack carrier. So I would say like bring options. So have a stroller option, but then a carrier option is also really nice. And again, you can get them on Baby Quip if you don't want to bring them. But yeah, like I think just having a couple of different options is really nice. If they are not napping, if they're not that type of kid who can nap on the go, because a lot of times babies are like FOMO. They don't want to miss, they don't want to miss a thing. They can't sleep on the go. They just like, they're not that type of kid. Then you want to just kind of prepare for them to have some sort of quiet time, some sort of downtime at some point in the day. The other thing, because kids will flip out when they're tired, but kids will also flip out when they're hungry and when they're hot and stuff like that. So just remembering,
and just sometimes whenever,
sometimes just because it's fun. So also just remembering that, like, a lot of times when we're out and about with our kids, they're, being complete nightmares and we're like, oh God, they must be tired. And then they get a snack and they're, pepped right back up again. So just kind of remembering those things too, like just remembering the checklist of basic needs. Like, yeah, sleep is on there, but if they miss sleep and they can get like a nutritious snack and make sure that they're hydrated and that they get breaks from the sun and things like that, like it's not going to be the end of the world if they miss a nap or if they only take a 10-minute power nap. And they can always go to bed early and you can try again the next day. I promise they will not implode from a missed nap once in a while.
And sometimes I tell my kids, they're a little bit older. I have an 8 and a 10-year-old now, but we've been traveling with them since they were babies. But I tell them now, like, if you're tired, it's okay. You don't have to take a nap. But sometimes just closing your eyes and like resting will refresh you. So if you're in the car on your way somewhere, hey, why don't you put your head in my lap? Like, just close your eyes, take a couple deep breaths.
Throw on an audio book or something. Yep.
That can really help pep them up.
We like to do that too. So whenever we're planning like a full day out while we're traveling, we try to budget the middle of the day for kind of like a reset. So, the baby or the youngest one will probably take a nap. The older kids might not nap, but they can at least, chill in bed, listen to a story or color or do something quiet with the lights down and just like having that time to just reset the brain and give the body a little bit of rest, even if they're not actually sleeping. And sometimes they will actually pass out and fall asleep if they're doing those things too. So
exactly.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. My kids now request that like downtime. They're like, can we please have some downtime? I'm like, okay.
Everybody needs it. We need it too. Yeah.
Totally. And just think, if adults are having, they're having a hard time, they're going and they're tired and stuff. Just imagine being that in like a little body. So
exactly.
You just have to give everybody a little bit more grace while you're on vacation for sure.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay, so we did the trip. Maybe you got some naps in. Hopefully you got some good sleep because you practiced ahead of time. When you come back, what's the best way to like just reset, get back to your routine, clean slate, like start over again?
Yeah. I mean, honestly, just getting right back into it. So back into the normal bedtime routine, taking the time to really allow that like wind down at night. If you're recovering from a time change, it's a little bit more tricky, but in general, for time change differences, you want to just make sure that as much as possible during the hours you want them to be awake, that they're exposed to natural sunlight. And then whenever you want them to be asleep, that it's like dim and calm. You're not relying overly on screen time, things like that. And that'll all help the circadian rhythm get back on track a little bit quicker.
So just all that good sleep hygiene that we all need, right?
Yeah. Yep. There's no magical trick. There's no magical trick. It's really just the sleep hygiene and the regular routines, and that'll get you back on track quickly.
Yeah. And just, again, giving everybody a little bit of grace because
patience.
Leaving and coming back is just really, it messes everybody's routine up. And I always need like a vacation coming back from a vacation,
Yeah, we actually try to come back. So we're going to Mexico with the kids in a couple weeks.
Ooh.
And we are coming home on a Friday so that we can have the weekend to like let everybody just chill and reset before starting back at school and with the busy schedules and stuff. So I would say that's another thing. I think a lot of people are tempted to maximize the days that they're gone and come back like Sunday night so that they have as much time of vacation as possible. But if you have little kids, you really might want to consider coming back on a Friday, coming back on a Saturday, even like a Saturday afternoon, so that you have like a full 24 hours to really kind of get back into the groove before starting your busy week again.
Yeah, just resting and relaxing from all the traveling. Just
Yep.
traveling is so tiring.
It
So,
is. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's hard on adults. It's hard on kids.
Exactly. Yep.
So if a parent is listening right now, and I hope they are, and they're about to leave for a trip, hasn't planned anything,
Mhm.
what's the one thing they can do now that can set themselves up for success?
I would say, I mean, the mindset stuff that I mentioned earlier for sure. But I would also say, like, I like to keep a note in my notes app of things that we could do. So I don't like to make like strict itineraries because with kids,
Hmm.
you never know what can happen. So some things you need to plan ahead for, like museum tickets or, train fares or things like that need to be booked in advance, of course. But otherwise, I like to just keep a notes app where I just have like bullet points of here's this neighborhood or here's this day and here are some potential activities and here's, some potential restaurants, playgrounds, things that we know we might want to go to so that when we're there, I feel like I have a bunch of things to pull from and then we can also like easily change the plan if needed. So I like to just kind of keep a running list of inspiration. I actually like to look on TikTok for travel stuff. I find that there's a lot of great recommendations on there. It's just something about the algorithm on there or like the searchability for me works better than looking for things on Instagram or on Google.
Interesting.
So yeah, so I like search hashtags on TikTok. I basically planned our entire Portugal trip just doing TikTok
Whoa.
research. So yeah, and then I would just like, keep a running list of ideas. So that's another thing I would say as far as like the planning. And then if you don't have like a solid bedtime routine or if your child doesn't have strong sleep associations or things that they like to have for sleep, maybe just start to introduce some of those things so that they do have that continuity of like this is what sleep is like at home and when I'm somewhere new.
Exactly. It's never too late to kind of just introduce some of that good sleep hygiene for your
Exactly.
kids, for yourself, get
Yep,
everybody, because sleep is so important. I mean,
it
like,
is. Yeah.
so important. It
Yes.
resets us for the next day. Amazing.
Exactly.
Rachel, this is so helpful. If parents want to learn more from you, where should they find you?
Yeah, so I'm at Hey Sleepy Baby on Instagram. My website is just heysleepybaby.com and like I said, I actually have tons of blog posts on my website, which are totally free. I have blog posts about travel tips, my favorite travel products from car seats to strollers, all of that kind of thing, tips for planes, just tons of different blog posts, how to adjust to a new time zone, all that kind of stuff. And then I also, if you go to my freebies page on there, I also have a free PDF travel guide with lots more info. So lots of stuff on there. And then I also have highlights on my Instagram where you can kind of see me and my family traveling in action. I have like our Portugal trip saved. And yeah, just a bunch of other stuff on there that you can
Well, since you've planned your
peruse.
Portugal trip for everybody already, we'll just
You
need
know
to see all those
what?
TikTok videos.
You know what? A couple of people have actually messaged me like, "Oh, I'm going to Portugal this summer and I'm literally doing everything that you did. So thanks for the itinerary." I'm like,
So,
"Great. I'm
oh,
here
hey,
to
sleepy
help."
baby, you're going to Portugal or Mexico or anywhere that Rachel's been. She's the travel expert.
I wouldn't say I'm a travel expert, but I do love to travel and I made my husband, he even put it in his vows that he would travel with me wherever I wanted to go, even if we had kids. Um
Amazing.
and yeah, it's so much fun and it's so much work. It's all of it, but it's
Hmm.
it's always almost always worth it. 99% of the time it's worth it.
It's always so cool to me to see like the world through your kids' eyes.
For sure. Yeah.
With anything. I mean, even if you just go to a city in the United States that you've been to
Right.
a
Even a
million times, to see
staycation. Yeah.
your kids be like, "Oh, this is completely new to me," is just so
It's so
fantastic and
great.
such a like benefit to traveling. You think,
Totally.
oh, it's going to be so stressful. There's a lot of work to it, all that kind of stuff. But sometimes those magical moments and the times when you see your kids just,
And there's hard moments at home too. It's like they're screaming and fighting and whining here too, so I may as well have a nice view and like a cocktail in my hand while I'm listening to it.
but not after 2:30, right?
No,
Because
exactly. No. And just one and maybe just a half. Yeah.
man, and not too much sugar. I
No, that
mean,
too. I know. God, it's terrible to get old.
It is. I mean, it's so delightful too, thank goodness. But
It is.
um,
It's a blessing.
we could have a whole other podcast just about getting older.
We could.
We could. Maybe we will. This has been so awesome. And for all of our listeners, if today's tips helped you, please be sure to share this episode with another parent who could use a little sleep sanity on their next trip. And if you're enjoying the podcast, we would love for you to write a quick review. It helps more parents find these tips and make family travel easier. And because we know sleep can make or break a trip, we've got a special treat for our Tiny Travelers community. Use code TINYTRAVELERS at checkout to get $20 off a $100 baby quip rental so you can travel lighter and set up a cozy sleep environment wherever you go. Find all the details in the show notes, where we also have links to Rachel's resources, plus extra sleep and travel tips from Baby Quip, including our latest blog posts. See you next time on Family Vacation Guide. Tiny Travelers, happy travels.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Tiny Travelers. I hope today's episode gave you the inspiration and practical tips to make your next family adventure easier, stress-free, and more fun. If you loved today's episode, head over to the show notes for promo codes and exclusive resources to help you plan unforgettable trips with your little ones. And don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Happy travels, and I'll see you next time.